What is that? The Illuminati? When I was in the mental hospital, or actually like outside the Golden One Center. All right. Sometimes I share stories as if people already know some background to like what happened, but for this I realize it doesn't matter. If a stranger is watching this, they have no background. So when I went crazy, psychotic, August 30th, 2022, I was outside the Golden One Center because I thought like Kendrick Lamar was playing a concert, his worldwide Separate concert. And I had it in like days prior, I felt this feeling of like I'm going to be on stage with him, like in that box performing. And I thought I was going to be doing these things I was doing when I was like preluding to the mental hospital. You know, you can define it as mania, which I would because that's the current definitions and it matched, right? I thought I was going to be in that box like performing. And so as the time got closer and no one was calling me up like, hey, bro, performance time, right? I found my way to Sacramento, and I'm from Davis, so pretty close, and was wandering the streets and having a grand time, you know, was just free in a way that wasn't really safe. And I found my way to the Golden One Center, and this guy's outside in like a little lawn chair, you know, and he's playing Kendrick, and so I start dancing and I start vibing with him, and my dance moves like at that time were fucking fire, I feel like, but he was like he was hyping me up and shit, and then I was barefoot too, and then I started like jumping in the garden boxes and showing like I can walk on fucking bark and it doesn't hurt, because it didn't. It just was, it literally was magic, bro. Like I was walking barefoot everywhere, not on concrete, but like on hard like dirt with spikes and shit, and it was just nothing. And then when I would fear for a split second a spike, I would step on a spike. I shit you not. Anyways, I was like jumping in the garden boxes and then like walking with my eyes closed in the garden boxes, and then even running and jumping into the garden boxes with my eyes closed. And they were like maybe this big, like concrete, and then pretty long though. I was jumping and touching like I was just starting to get hype, right? Because in my head, when the time was coming close, I went to the front and tried to like not break my way in, but like convince the people at the front to let me in, because I'm like, bro, promise me I'm gonna be on stage. And they're like, no. And so then I had a feeling like I had to put on my own performance. So like I put on my own performance. I started doing yoga and you know, dancing, and it just kept escalating because the time kept going, and I wasn't like, I thought Kendrick was going to open the door at some point when I had made it, and like, oh, he's worth it. Like, he's valid, you know, like, get in here, right? So I just kept going, and I was like, how can I prove to you who I am and why I'm here in this moment right now? Like, right now. And it led to me then slowly like turning, and I was like, I'm not going to look behind me anymore. I'm looking at the mirror. It was the reflection in the glass of like the Golden One Center. And so then I start preaching, and I start like going off, calling people out that I see in the mirror, you know, like, who am I to call someone out? Bro, they're just trying to fucking get to the concert or do something else, right? I'm making a fool of myself, so to speak. Not so to speak, anyways. Soda, Coca-Cola. And then it got like at one point I closed my eyes, and I was like, I'm closing my eyes the rest of the time. And so I'm screaming stuff like, I was screaming stuff that was like pretty biblical. Saying stuff like, already died on the cross for this. And getting mad about people not seeing my reality right now, because I was psychotic. And when you're psychotic, possible realities that exist bleed within real physical reality. So if there's a disconnect with what your reality fantasy that you're feeling is with physical reality, it's like terrifying. And at least in my experience, was trying so hard for it to become reality like then. have Kendrick open the door and be on stage with him that night, right? That when I wasn't having, I went crazy. And I was slamming my head on the concrete, like fully just convulsing and slapping my hands, screaming who I was. Like, look at me. Like, look, like screaming, look at me. Like, I can do this shit. Like, and I don't feel shit because we are beyond physical. There's an aspect of us that's beyond physical. Anyways, I got, at some point, the cops were like so fucking dumb because in that moment, I needed someone to scream at me, like, shut the fuck up. Like, you're unhealthy right now. You're psychotic. Look around you. You have you're psychotic. And they were just saying, like, hey, can you just do this somewhere else? I'm like, do you not see what I'm doing? Like, bro. Yeah, and at one point they just said, all right, that's enough. And they all pinned me. And at that point, like, they were kneeing me and stuff and pinning me. At that point, I just felt, voice say, like, relax. So I just relaxed completely. And then they handcuffed me and, like, took me like this. And, like, was dragging me to the cop car. And then, like, a feeling voice was like, do a flip. And so, like, I jumped and then went through like that. And then did a flip. And was, like, walking upright like that. And then one of the cops was like, whoa, this kid's athletic. And I was, in my head, I was like, damn right. And then I was in the cop car and I thought I was going to jail for life, bro. Like, I literally thought that because I was psychotic. And I was, like, imagining my reality in solitary confinement for life. And I was like, this is horrible. And I was, like, screaming, like, Is it L or Z? And in my experience in that moment, like doing that in the cop car, I had the feeling of like commanding them to stop and turn right and turn around. And that's what happened. And when I was in that state, I thought it's because I commanded them to, but bro, I can't command anyone to do anything. That's not who I am, or any of us are. But I think my brain was processing time in the moment immediately, and so I was just expressing a vocal pitch that was expressing the feeling of what I was experiencing in that moment. And my intellectual brain usually isn't like that fast. And so in that experience, it felt like I was commanding it because it was a step sooner than usual, if that makes sense. But yeah, then I was in the ER for like a day and a half, and that sucked. I like made it, there were just some pretty bad nurses. And I also made it hell. Like, there was one that was really nice. Anyone who works in mental health, like, if you're mean to your clients and stuff, fuck you. Like, I don't care what state they're in, like, treat them with respect. And then I was in mental hospital for 2 weeks. I'll save that.